Let's fight. A very good evening to each and every one of you. Let's fight, let's fight, let's fight, let's fight, let's fight. We hope that you guys are great and well. We missed you last evening. We went over to the National Assembly about 2 p.m. yesterday. Never left until 5 a.m. this morning. And hence we didn't have a formal morning show. But we missed each and every one of you. Welcome to the broadcast. Wherever you're joining us from, we're privileged that you guys are here with us, that you've made us your one-stop place for the next hour or so. It's our privilege to be here with you, wonderful folks, and we're making sure that we share the live as well, that we smash that emoji button. Good people, we're fired up at this end and we're ready to go. And we hope you feel the same. Wenda, how are you doing? Good to have you here with us. Wenda, and all the other folks who are joining us this evening. Glad to have all of you guys here with us. And as we say, folks, happy to have you all here with we. Pace and power, that's what we say, folks. Boots on the ground, of course, we're not going to back down. For no reason, for nothing at all. Great to have each and every one of you. And just when you think you got things together, I see we got Dolly with us and Vashti, Rihanna Mingo Roberts, Debbie Collins, Dolly Anderson. Good to see you folks. Share that live for us, good folks. Smash that emoji button. We fired up, fired up, fired up, ready to go. We're fired up, good folks. And ready to go. Once we start going, we ain't stopping. So you might as well share the live. You might as well smash that emoji button. Good folks, good folks, good folks. We're so happy and thrilled and privileged that each and every one of you, you've joined us this evening from so many different places. And we're privileged. And we're a privileged bunch, good folks. Really nice to have each and every one of you with us, good folks. Nice to have you all here with we. Am I saying that right? Pace and power, good folks. Pace and power. We try to make sure that we are shared to all the valid and credible places. And if we run into any trouble, we just have to do this the old-fashioned way. If we run into any trouble, how are you all doing out there, folks? Are we in a hold on? Are we in the right places? Hold on. Hold a second for us. Bear with us. Yeah. That's it. That's the trouble we're having. That's the simple trouble we're having. Yeah, we haven't gone through the Facebook page until now, so we got to start it over again. Good to have all of you folks here with us. Wherever you're joining us from, it's good to see each and every. Welcome in the ring, folks, if you're now joining us. We've been on for, let me see. 2 minutes, 56, 57, 58, 59. 3 minutes we've been on for. Didn't go through the Facebook right away. So if you're now joining us on Facebook, if you're now joining us on Facebook, good to have each and every one of you with us, folks. Share it live as you come on, folks. Smash that emoji button as well. We're privileged. We're happy that all of you folks, wonderful, beautiful folks, here with us this evening, here with we. That's how we say. Thank you. Thank you so much for being out front with us tonight, folks. It's Tuesday the 9th day, and as I said, we regret we couldn't be on with you lovely folks last evening, but it was as a result of being in the National Assembly. You know, we checked in there since about 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon, and good folks, we never left the National Assembly till 5 a.m. this morning because we had some words with them. Good folks, we had some words with them, and I'm happy that you guys are here with us from the many places you're joining us from. Pace and power, you all know how we do it, good folks. Pace and power, and as we come on tonight, the opener. I think that's where we're going to start. We're going to start with what took place in the National Assembly. Folks, I want you all to be very, very concerned about this particular issue. Last evening into this morning, the People's Progressive Party Civic Hijack UG. Yep, Hijack UG. The change the composition of the highest decision-making body at the university, the council, that the government now has more people, more representatives on the council than the chancellor, than the university Ghana combined. So, for all intents and purposes, they're in full control of the university. They can now hire who they want, fire who they want, deny program entry to anybody that they want, allow certain people to get in some programs. that did not even qualify to get in. This is friends, family favorites all over again. And this is what they want to do, is control freakism. And starting the ball rolling for us this evening. We're the opener, folks. We're the opener. The one and only Shadow Minister for Foreign Affairs, Amanzo Walton Desires, speaks to this issue. Spoke to this issue in the National Assembly last evening into this morning. Take a look. Take a listen. Good, folks.
What we are emphasizing on this side of the House is that it is important to hold violators accountable. If the law is broken, violators must be held accountable. But we will proceed in error as a House if we decide that we are turning a blind eye to the rights of our citizens. The question of data privacy, Madam Speaker, is something that has occupied extensive deliberation. The European Union passed the GDPR. Earlier this year, the Attorney General, when he passed the Data Protection Act, was waxing eloquently about the importance of privacy and protection. And he is sitting there and he is saying to us now that it must be treated casually. This is why I asked, and I have not heard from the Honorable Minister, and maybe if the Honorable Attorney General will speak, he could indicate to our citizens the degree and the extent to which that act applies to the present circumstances, if at all. So that is what they must spend their time doing. So for us, we want to support this legislation, but I think it would be remiss of us not to raise these concerns. And so for us, if the Honorable Minister and the speakers after could adequately answer these questions, we have no difficulty in supporting this. And whilst I'm on my feet, I will ask the Honorable Minister, because I'm happy to hear that he said that they will be making sure that traffic police especially use body cams. It is something that has to be commended and hopefully enforced. So I was quite happy to hear him say that. I want to encourage that whilst we are at it, let us fix this issue of civilian vehicles being fitted with emergency lights. It's a problem, Madam Speaker. And it is becoming, it's out of hand. You see certain ministers zipping and zooming and so on, and even people who are not ministers of government. We have to address as well, as we're talking about road safety, the trucks on the road. I will commend the Ministry of Public Works. They have been making progress in terms of the enforcing the weight limits. And so, Mr. Speaker, I want to ask that they hasten the weight limit regulations that we were told earlier in the year are under development, because it is the behavior of truck drivers on our roads is a problem. And it is a clear and present problem for all road users, fellow drivers and pedestrians alike. So I want to encourage the hastening of that legislation, including, Madam Speaker, regulating the way loads are carried. It is the most terrifying thing to be in a vehicle next to a truck that the load that it is carrying is exceeding, so protruding so far above the capacity of the truck. And so these are things that we have to address speedily. So, Madam Speaker, I hope that my comments are taken in the light in which it is intended, and that is that if we are going to pass legislation in this House, that it be robust, that it be comprehensive, and that we have to have a well thought out piece of legislation. And not only that, I want to strongly encourage, Madam Speaker, a robust education program to go with the rolling out of this legislation. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Yeah. That's some of what Amanzo Walton Desire said last evening into this morning. And the National Assembly speaking to the issue of road safety, and you'll see But this is so important. Carnage on our roads and waterways every day, and we got one of those stories to cover. But more specifically, the issue of the takeover of the University of Guyana. Take a listen to some of what MP Ganesh Mahi Paul and yours truly had to say on the floor of the National Assembly as well. Take a look quickly, folks. Take a listen.
Sir, let me say to you that, and I admire her boldness, the Honorable Minister of Education, to stand and say, UG is precious to the PPPC. And that touched me. UG is precious to the PPPC. The preciousness of the University of Guyana to the PPPC caused them in 1994 to put tuition fee for children to go to the University of Guyana for students. It was free. 1994, it became 127,000 Guyana dollars, which was 1,000 US dollars at the time. And all that they're talking about increasing student fees, there was never an increase, and the Honorable Member Teixeira knows that. Because we sat on the council when the case came to us that, you know what we're doing? We bring in the $1,000 equivalent. The 1,000 US dollars, the equivalent, which was the $220,000 at the time. And we have to be honest in this house, sir, especially when we have members who would have served on the University of Guyana Council with us here. Sir, outside of that introduction of tuition fee at the University of Guyana, let me tell you how much the PPPC loved the university, how precious the University of Guyana is to the PPPC. The current composition of the council, the current composition of the 26-member council that the People's Progressive Party love and is precious, must have a representative from the Minister of Education. From 2021 to now 2024, it has been vacant. No nominee came from the Minister of Education for the University of Guyana. 2021 to now. The representative from the Ministry of Finance, the 26 and the 26, there's also a slot for the representative from the Ministry of Finance, vacant. There is a nominee from the political party in office, vacant. There is a nominee from the Minister for Medicine and Law. In fact, 3 nominees, vacant. So the 6th seat that the government has to occupy in this council, the 6th seat that currently exists for the government to occupy in the council, they are all vacant. From 2021 to now, nobody is sitting in those seats, and you are coming here to tell us that the University of Guyana is precious to you, Comrade Speaker, and you didn't occupy the 6, but you're going to put more. So on what basis must we now believe that you will occupy the more? Is it that with the more, the quorum will go up, and then they may not be able to meet, the university may not even be able to meet the council? That is perhaps what they're seeking to do, to shut the council down in its entirety.
But I want to come back to the Honorable Minister's order. Because we have said, and I think the next Minister of Education has articulated this, and I don't want to go back and tread the territory, about the pitfalls, about the control freakism that comes with increasing these numbers, that puts the government squarely in control, because we have already had foreshadowings of this in the past. When Freddie had its sanity and wrote in 2020 that seminal paper, the Honorable Gentleman Freddie wrote a seminal paper on racism, the PPP, and all of that. And Freddie, in that university setting, was hounded by the PPP and his acolytes. And they were responsible for his dismissal from the University of Guyana. Freddie took that matter to an ombudsman who confirmed that. And imagine if they did not have total control as yet. It comes now to what the Honorable Member Greta McDonald says. They don't want to dictate who get an honorary PhD. They can now want to get one from a proper university because they got one from a no-name unaccredited one. Which friend and family gets into what programs and who don't get in to the program? Which lecturer saying too much publicly and must be dismissed from the university? This has already happened in the past when people were bowing to pressure. And this is where they're coming to again. The PPP wants to exercise control freakism over the University of Guyana. And there has been tremendous uncertainty and vacillations as they pursue this. UG has an online program that has started a little while now. It's ahead of goal. And the PPP loves UG so much, they create a parallel online program, rivaling UG in the budget for the program. And they love UG so much. This love looks strange. Strange love. The budget for the online program rivaling the entire university. And I've been talking predominantly about Turkine campus. I ain't touched Tane and John as yet. But not only did they create Goal, Guyana Online Academy of Learning, and I saw the Honorable Member Manikchan made the allusion to one student calling her this morning, using that as a justification to change the composition of the entire council. Goal has had its own issues as well. People went to classes. The folks said they're not registered in that course, that university. It started late. You got some degree programs for 2.5 years. All manner of things. A lot of complaints has come. Now, if Goal and UG got a budget rivaling each other, who is the council for Goal? Who makes up the council for Goal? Who is the council for Goal? Huh? Who is the council? Who is the governing body? What are their statutes? And Goal budget rivaling UG. And the honorable member, Mr. Ramson says, because of these investments, they need more people. But I not assume they can make some more investments in Goal as well. But how come Goal is so secretive? Like the administration of men on a mission. You don't know who are these people. UG, the government says they love UG more than the rest of us. As I said earlier on, I was a student of the Center for Communication Studies and graduated. I didn't waste time. I'll say 50 more because we didn't just drop it. We come through. All right, folks, that's some of what we discussed last evening into the good to see many of you tonight on the line, folks. That's some of what we discussed at I almost said University of Ghana at the National Assembly just last evening. Ganesh Mai, Paul, yours truly, the entire parliamentary opposition, Amanzo Watson Z, who we heard from when we started the broadcast, folks. And sorry, we can't link it. You'll get some more of it later. We got to keep pushing on. We got to keep pushing on because this is what they intend to do, folks. Moving the Council of the University of Ghana from 26 members, and all this is to benefit the government, the 32 members passed this dastardly amendment to the University Act last evening, folks, by way of a gazetted order. That's what it did. Control freakism. Always wrong and down, folks. We got some stories loading. You ought to know that. We got some stories loading. And let's start here with some of what we're picking up from around the world, folks. From around the world. Quick, fast, in a hurry. Look what's happening here. You all know that former Russian opposition leader who died a few short months ago, Navalny. What was his first name? Giving you all some homework now. What was his first name? You all remember this fella? Alexei Navalny. His wife, they're telling us, is now wanted by the Russian authorities. She lives overseas. And in absentia, the court ordered her arrest. This is Navalny. I got that right. Navalny. Yulia Navalny. I want to get it right. Yulia Navalny lives outside of Russia, and the Russian authorities want her now for participating in an extremist group. Imagine they're outside and watching. You outside. This seems familiar. You outside the country, and they're watching you. What a thing. What a thing. But that's one thing to be following, good folks. That being said, hundreds of British, UK parliamentarians sworn in today in the new the life of the British Parliament, sworn in hundreds. The government won over 400 and something of 600 seats. That's a lot. We got 65 away, we can't even get the business of the house done. Imagine if we had hundreds. Just imagine if we had hundreds. Where would we be, folks? Where would 65? And the PPP has made the National Assembly so dysfunctional. And we want to say congrats to all the British parliamentarians coming in today. New government, new administration, Guyanese parentage, the foreign secretary now. Congrats to the entire team. And we wish them well as government, as a parliamentary opposition. We wish them well. And that's what's happening at that end, good folks. Coming real fast. Beryl. People even name the dog Beryl. That's the destruction Hurricane Beryl has had moving throughout the region. You know, it touched Trinidad and St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Barbados. Made its way on to Jamaica. Headed down there to Mexico after that. And the folks are saying it left a trail of destruction. I'm telling you what the folks said. Trail of destruction. Watching that now. And, you know, the Caribbean is doing its part to bring some relief to our brothers and sisters who are caught in this trail of destruction, as we say. Pray for the folks of the Caribbean. Why don't you? Please and thank you. We just had a little squall and some people done saying, Father, I repent. Much more of you feel the rockings of a real hurricane. Who's sharing the life for us this evening? And as we come home, it's heading down to Mexico there. And as we touch base on some of the other things happening around the region, the Commissioner of Police out of Trinidad, this is Erla Harewood Christopher, first female Commissioner of Police in Trinidad and Tobago. She is reporting, we often talk about crime in Trinidad. I thought I ought to bring you a bit of good news tonight. She is reporting that there's been a 50% decrease in violent crimes. Them boys here tell me something similar. But we go out every day and we experience something totally different from what they want to tell us. But Erla Harewood Christopher, the Commissioner of Police in the Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, she says they're seeing a 15% decrease in violent crimes for the comparative period last year. I'm telling you what the woman said. You live in Trinidad, you can go fight her on that. If you guys live in TNT, you can go and fight her on that. Please and thank you. Are we coming closer to home now? As we draw closer to home, there's a lot happening, folks. There's a lot happening, a lot of stories. Loading on the fight card. There are a lot of things we'll be looking at. Pull two bodies from the Mahika Unity Beach. Unity Beach there. Two boys drowned over the weekend. Watch that happen yesterday as we were in the National Assembly. There's a lot, folks. There's plenty, it's enough. The new Labour lines will change. Nigel Hughes admitted he has not admitted he has a conflict of interest, but that his firm, Hughes, Fields and Stobie, They work for the ExxonMobil conglomerate as a client, and it's been Baron Jagdio who's been saying there's a conflict of interest, even though the president of ExxonMobil Guyana says, this is Alistair Rutledge, says there's no conflict of interest. He said that today, press conference of the Line for Change, that's last week. Mr. Yu says he will govern if elected in the interest of the people of this great country of ours. That's what he said. Take a look, precious people, and take a listen.
In my capacity as leader of the Alliance for Change, I am not in a position to influence government policy, particularly as it relates to Exxon. I, however, may be in a position to influence AFC policy on oil and gas. In order to address this specific issue, the Alliance for Change has determined that the issue of oil and gas is far too complex for a single oil and gas czar.
That was newly elected leader of the Alliance for Change, Nigel Hughes. He was addressing the contention that his election presents a conflict of interest. Vice President Bharat Jagdio made this charge at a recent press conference. The Alliance for Change responded that Jagdio is in a greater conflict of interest position.
The People's Progressive Party has singularly refused to abandon this approach, and their failure to establish the Petroleum Commission is proof of this. The concentration of decision-making in the areas of natural resources, finance, and oil and gas in the hands of a single person is highly risky, dangerous, and leads to policy being made up on the trot, all of which is bad for business.
Hughes, who's a legal representative of ExxonMobil, said that he will have no contact with oil and gas committees set up by his party.
If and when elected to office, I will relinquish all ties with the firm of Hughes, Fields, and Stokes. During the coalition, I did not ask for or assist the government of Guyana or Exxon. I have never held any governmental office, nor have I ever advised the government of Guyana. On the 11th of April, 2016, I resigned as chairman of the Alliance for Change. Shortly thereafter, I incorporated the not-for-profit company called the Guyana Oil and Gas Association, abbreviated to GOGA. On the 22nd of June 2016, GOGA was dedicated to, and I quote, promoting and representing the interests of all Guyanese service providers in the oil and gas industry in Guyana.
He admitted to being a politically exposed person. He was placed in this position since 2011 when his wife was appointed a member of parliament.
There is no magic in being a politically exposed person. I understand that the vice president has an interest in the absence of any spine in my body, but I understand why he would not have recognized it, as he's unaware of what a backbone looks like. In 2015, shortly after the coalition was elected to office, they sought to remove the vendors from the Stabroek market. Despite being the chairman of the Alliance for Change, I went to Stabroek market and opposed this removal.
He said that his position as leader of the Alliance for Change would see him fighting for the people of Guyana.
In my capacity as leader of the Alliance,
That's some of what Mr. Hughes said a couple of days ago. What his intentions are and how is he moving forward on this issue. But Mr. Jagger didn't like that. The vice president didn't like that at all, because recently he ran out behind Nigel there. Alistair Rutledge of the ExxonMobil Guyana conglomerate said just today to Demara Waves, in his own deliberate judgment, no conflict of interest exists. And you heard Mr. Hughes talk there about relinquishing, the firm should he attain high office. But recently, as they said, Jagdio ran out. And he said he and two like what Exxon say, he said their efforts afoot to rebrand. Mr. Hughes, that's what he said. To rebrand, Mr. Hughes. Take a look for yourself and take a look at it and take a listen. Listen, one more people.
Vice President Bharat Jagdio told in an interview that there was a plot by the middle class for Nigel Hughes to be the coalition presidential candidate.
Norton put that bubble. Norton basically made it clear.
Either he's not going to go with a consensus.
Well,
candidate,
he's and the consensus candidate, should there be one, must
should
come from the PNC. So
PNC.
Norton struck the first blow against that plot.
Okay.
That
So-
they had.
so-
The plot
okay.
was to install Nigel Hughes, recreate his image as though he is new.
Jagger said that the plot was to attract votes from the PPP and the PNCR. He said that Nigel Hughes has been with the AFC forever.
Secondly, he was chairman of that party twice and resigned 2 times for personal reasons. That's what he said, but they were linked to money-related issues. One with Site Global, and the second time when the negotiations with Exxon was just about to start.
He said that his job is to point out the fallacies.
Long before the elections come, the country will come to know who Nigel Hughes is. And I didn't need to do anything. Minutes after being a named leader of the AFC, excluding all the young people, putting back the same old leaders who had baggage from the past, he did an interview with Demerara Waves. And he said something that would disqualify any leader for running for elections. He said, should the country's interests conflict with that of ExxonMobil, I will stand on the side of ExxonMobil.
He contends that such a statement would disqualify Hughes from ever being a national leader. And that the government negotiates with Exxon is not a conflict of interest position. Rather, such negotiations are on the side of the people.
When Exxon did not want the local content law, we passed the local content law. APNU did not. As a result of this, we have $700 million US and 1,600 Guyanese companies now that benefit from this, because we carved out all of the things they were given to foreign companies, like supply of food, renting houses from foreigners, security services. We made that exclusively for Guyanese.
He denied that his government granted any concession to Exxon. He said that all concessions were granted by former Minister Raphael Trotman.
That when it comes to the AFC and their pockets, then they will put that ahead of national interest.
He accused the Alliance for Change of being more corrupt than the PNCR. He said that many people are looking for a political home.
Many former supporters of the PNC, they don't believe that the PNC has the right vision, leadership to emerge, to win the elections. They're looking for a home. Some people who don't, there are some haters who will never like the PPP. They will gravitate maybe to the AFC and a few. But a lot of people are also coming to the People's Progressive Party.
Jagger said that people would be better served within the PNC than with the AFC. And about Exxon funding the AFC?
Exxon may fund political parties. It would be illegal because they're prohibited as a U.S. company from doing this, except with the approval of their board.
Yeah. That's some of what Mr. Jack just said there. And I said there, and I heard him talk about us. Y'all heard him talking about us, Avril and Yvette Miller, Efo Armstrong. Gloria Chancellor, I heard him talk about you a little bit there, Gloria. Lucille, Marlon Thomas, Jamal and Deborah. I heard him talk about us. He said some people never joined the PPP. It's now you, Leon. Beloved Audrey and Tracy, Shawnette, Colonel Providence, Joylyn Cook. He said that some of them would never join. He called me. They would never join. They'd rather go in the political wilderness than join us. Idris, is that you? Eva Mattis and Chevron and all the other folk joining us. Let's show you some of the other things we cover. Respect of man, I think it's bangs the IH. Right off the bat, we talked about Hurricane Beryl. I see some of you said Nigel's like Beryl to him. Nigel is like Beryl to him. Mash him up. Thanks to Banks, Banks has donated over 2,000 boxes of biscuits to Granada. I can see somebody else, I could have taken $2. I could have taken $2. If you know you said, say yes, I said. Confess your sins one to another. If you know you said in your heart, in your mind. Julie and Raquel, Yvonne, Angela, Jordan, I see you there. Dan, Graves, Andy. Good to see you there, Dan. And all the other beautiful folks who join us. Kurt Heideck and Quanamingo. Good $2,000 of biscuits. Good night. Each and every one of you. Yep. Just want to say, respect the manners, the banks, their age. I got $2,000 to give, and if they give $2,000, I'm happy with that. Crowd Providence say I want $2. Crowd say I want $2. It's true. See all this sweet biscuit going long as I can take a little $100. I used to like shady biscuit when I was in primary school. I got a little quank clip for myself, sir. Right? One for you, one for me. One for you. Good to have all of you wonderful, beautiful folks on the live. And look what we're following. Spotted. As we talk about those issues, we saw a couple of things. Over the last 24 hours, we saw some of our guys on the ground heading to Granada as well. And what a beautiful sight that was. Spotted. Some of our guys heading down there to Grenada to be boots on the ground to offer some security, the criminal elements. If you only let your guards down, the criminal elements gone with you. Soon as they let your guards down, it's hijack them boys, but hijack Eugene. We can't rest, brothers and sisters. We can't rest. Don't do it. Soon as you take your eyes off the ball, instead of contingent of our guys are heading down there to Grenada, as I said, and they're going to be lending some support to the folks on the ground there. It's a good thing. Y'all don't bother too much. It's a good thing. Right? Them boys doing what they got. It's a good thing. Don't worry yourself too much unnecessarily. So congrats to them and stay safe. Our finest in uniform. Stay safe, folks. Please and thank you. We want them to stay safe. And let me see if I get the name of who is leading this this contingent. I know it's a great it's a fantastic soldier who's at the head of what's happening here. Let me see if I get it pretty quick for you folks. Share the line, smash emoji, but in the meantime, as I get the valid, credible information for each and every one. Yeah, here we go, folks. I finally found it in the notes here. It says an 8-member preliminary team from the Ghana Defense Force, led by Lieutenant Colonel Andy Pompey. I wanted to call the name right. Lieutenant Colonel Andy Pompey has been sent to Grenada to conduct a thorough damage assessment and needs analysis following the passage of Hurricane Beryl. Yeah, some of what they're doing there. That being said, good folks, spotted soldiers in uniform there, doing what they got to do, good folks. Look at that we're following. We got some visitors. USA, this is where the practice coming out. Its deputy of administration is in town. And we want to say respect and manners to her as well. Welcome, Mayor Say Belong from the 1911. Say Belong. Isabel Coleman. Well, you know, Jack, you're watching she with 4 eyes. You remember the name, Isabel? The last name was Young. Put a lot of fear in Jack Rio there. Isabel Young. We have another Isabel now with us. USAID Deputy Administrator. And she's in town, and it says that she will reinforce the USAID's strong partnership with Guyana and commitment to supporting inclusive economic development, democratic governance, and climate adaptation and resilience in the Caribbean territory, in the Caribbean region. Some lofty goals there. And we wish her well. Get some nice potty and see some cook up. Get some fried rice. Get some curry. And we had some curry for lunch today. Might want to go back. Nice time, good folks. A little lava and some black water. And you're good to go. That's what you put it right there. So welcome to the U.S. State Administrator, Deputy Administrator. There we go, folks. Look what that's following. You know, there's a lot happening. There's a lot. Look what that's following, good folks. Wicked, stink, and dirty, the PPP. You know, since we went to Sarah Joanna running there, since we went to Sarah Joanna running there, trench crappos and Jagabat. I'm not saying all PPP supporters are trench crappos and Jagabat. And when I use it, I don't use it as any racist stuff. I see some people trying to pick up some wicked, stinking, dirty people trying to spin it now. Trying to, like, tell you what I mean. I mean, it's a term of endearment. Wicked, stinking, dirty. Look what's happening. I tell you all, since we went in there to Sarah Joanna, they're running. But I hope the folks there in Sarah Joanna take all they got to get from them. It's not their money. It's your own money. Money belongs to all of us as citizens of this country. Who can share their life tonight? Who can smash that emoji? When Kwame running, he giving them shelter, this and that, and transportation to the shelter, and a little food stuff. And so. He says only 3 of them. Last evening, he says only 3 of them to buy the land. But they're saying now, land applications will be fast-tracked. I think it's one of them own the land in there, you know. I think it's one of them own that land in there. And they'll assemble how you feel about it. Union North, Shirin Baines, Cold Providence. I think it's one of them same boys own the same land. And that's why you see this kind of approach now. How we can fast-track a little plot somewhere in Timbuktu. That's what they're doing there. Wicked. Cannot be trusted at all. You don't trust them. As I said, the folks went into Sarah Joanna and look a little bit about how this issue started if you haven't had a chance to see the longer video, the longer footage that we had on our visit there on Saturday. Take a look at some of what transpired on the ground in Sarah Joanna over the weekend, folks. Take a look. Take a listen.
Some residents of Sierra Joanna, a community on East Bank Demerara, are now homeless, courtesy of a group of men hired to demolish their homes.
All these people, most of them, living behind here, over 13, some live 15. I have a brother started 1 year, he born and grew in Sierra Joanna. He have a child born here. My sister born here. She have a child born here. This X amount of years that we live in here. Yesterday morning, from no way, nobody never come and tell me we gotta move or nothing. Yesterday morning, I see a pickup where I set a man with some mask on the face. We have video. They drive in, so I see the van load of Timeri police. Mr. Harry, which we know he well known to this village, coming in with them. So by the time I drop me in proper clothes, I put on something and come out. By the time I reach the back here, I see the lash down the house there, which is Cynthia's house.
That was one of the affected residents. She said that she inquired about the reason for the destruction and got a rude answer. The men who came never identified themselves. Present at the demolition exercise was a Sergeant Harry. Of interest is the ownership of the land.
The man, a private owner, saying this land is he own. Since PPP take over, this man come and said this land is he own. Right? Start coming in here. He come one time before, come and share food to the little children them. Tell them that he can come and develop the place and he can give them playground and he can come and do things to them, some little children. He can build a school for them. So they take it, everybody take it like something good they're going to do for us.
The man was there with the demolition crew. There was also a bailiff. The woman said that she tried her best to ascertain the reason for the demolition. The residents said that the children were hurt during the exercise.
Susan Rodriguez and Mr. Kwame McCoy come in this village and promise we, Mr. Glenn Lal, that they're going to give us house lots. We pay, we got a receipt that we pay for these house lots. And up to now, 3 years ago, we can't get the house lot up to now. And this is what I come doing to people here.
People slept under a makeshift tent. They simply had nowhere to go.
The Muslim brother that come here said the president is his brother.
Yes.
Right? All them is Muslim and we have no right in it. When we move out, man, then people got the video when he cuss and say, you get that, your son so from here.
He said that when the government was in the opposition, some of the people who are now ministers visited the community.
One, Mr. Nandalal was alive in the beginning of this whole land system. Since Mr. Nandalal get into power, we never see him back. until this Muslim man started come torturing us, right? Mr. Nandalal stood up there. He told this man not to harass us, not to fight with us until land issued to us from the housing. We did all of that. We paid our money for the land. This is about quite some years, or over 3 years. Every time you go to housing, they're telling you next month, next 2 months.
The residents told a horror story. They spoke of the masked men running into their homes and pocketing things.
When the police is there to protect the people here, right? The Guyana police force for they for take care of the people in this community here. The police have sledgehammer and go in the house and start to break. Having the other people the man never them bring. Start picking up all the people. This lady wasn't home yesterday. Go in this lady house, take out all this lady thing, push them in and pocket. You understand? And that is ridiculous what I do to the people at the back here.
The situation appeared dire. Children were eating in the open akin to beggars, one resident said. Up to today, there was no hope in sight.
Yeah, thank you, Adam Harris, for that. Thank you so much, Uncle Adam, for pulling that together for us from an hour plus of footage. And that's some of what we saw when we were on the ground there at Sierra Joanna on the east bank of Demerara just yesterday. We can do a follow-up because we were made to understand that when your boy ran in there, a lot of promises were made. But Briss is over now. You know, since Kwame and the acolytes take over August 2nd, 2020, it's pocketory, confusion powder. Since them boy took over, folks, trouble on the capital shop. Look what happened here now. Brace yourself. Brace yourself. They're telling us a 9-year-old. A 9-year-old was brutally chopped. A 9-year-old. Good folks. Brutally chopped by the mother. Because the mother's boyfriend, the mother's bae, referred to the mother and the child as waste. So I don't know if the mother felt that the child was holding back. She progressed. Brutally chopped this child. That's what we're being told. Folks, wild, wild west. I see some of y'all say, it's over in this country. Wild, wild. Who would do that? Mother instinct is protect the child. That is the mother's instinct, to protect the child, but not in this country. The mother's the one who did the chopping after the boyfriend says they were total waste. You think you understand where we going in this country? And why we got to be so careful? Chop the child, you know. Brutally chop. According to the reports we have, brutally chop. Pray for the child. We got some people of faith on with us. Pray for this child. Brace yourself now. I ain't tell you, once we come, we touch down, we land, we clear immigration. In shovel, 15 years old, and found hanging. Angelina James, found hanging in her home, a student of Wona Secondary School and a resident of Whitewater Creek, Region 1, if I'm not mistaken, found hanging in her home recently. And just recently we talked about our young people and what's happening. Region 1 Northwest District. They said this student of Wona Secondary School is alleged to have committed suicide sometime between 20 hours last evening and 7:30 hours this morning. A relative was passing by where she lived and noticed the door open and went to check to see what was happening and found her hanging from the rafters there. Young Angelina with a rope tied around her neck. What could have driven this young lady? As we say colloquially, a mother milk still in her face. What could have driven her to that? They said the relative that discovered her alerted other relatives nearby, and they made a police report. The police examined the body. No marks of violence were seen. No foul play suspected either. Angelina James' body is now at the Mabaruma Hospital mortuary, awaiting a post-mortem examination. 16 years old, they say. 16 years old. Good folks, pray for the young people of our country. Just last week, we saw something similar. We were talking about the 25-year-old found in the apartment. Dead, 25. We talked about that. You know, oh my God. Oh my God. Thoughts and prayers with the James. 16 years old, Angelina's gone. And that can't be an easy thing for this family. Our thoughts and our prayers are with them. Moving on. Moving on, folks. Photo of the day. Photo of the day. You ever wake up good? You ever wake up good? Y'all following us tonight? Yvonne and Wenda and Jamal Aziz. Latchman, your name calling. Magnell, Coral. You ever wake up good? Huh? And then 590 syndrome take you. 590ism take you. You wake up good. This car just... The car wasn't carrying today. Ended up in a ditch. Godfrey Lane, National Year Prayer. Karen Fresco. Wilton Blue, Alson Jones. My God. Pray for our country. Some folks say we cross. Some folks say we cross. Coming on down, folks. Where's Rock? Where's Rock? As we unfolded the day, some folks out of Wiz Rock and Linden Centers, they said this is the drinking water. Right? GWI says really to make drink. They done color it for you. Just I'm gonna add the little sweetener. They done color it for you already. This is why you should cook your rice with and your stew and consume. Nigel McKenzie. You know, sometimes I wanted to send it like that, so you gotta buy. You gotta patronize the friends, the family, and the favorites. Kurt Maxwell, is this what they're doing? Nigel McKenzie, is this what they're doing? Orindon Cook said PP across the country. Rhonda Gordon, you see what is this coming through your tap? Marilyn Thomas. Marilyn says she hoped the 16-year-old wasn't one of you know who clients. Starts with a D, end with a L. She hoped it wasn't one of his clients. Right? My Lord. Godfrey Lane says we cross till we cross up. Till we cross up. Godfrey Lane. That's the drinking water out of Wizrock. It's trying to kill the people of Wizrock. That's what you're telling me. The drinking water, Cora. Pamela Dover. We're coming through your top. Dan Graves, Andy, that's by you saying? Dan joins us from the mining town. Coral says it's mud water. Dan says, yeah, that's the water we get in. We not embellishing things here for the sake of embellishing, you know. You know, it's sad, like how we lose Angelina. You know, it's sad how people dying on the roads in this country. You know, it's sad how young people get into all kinds of activities. Look at this young lady, Coletta Blake, charged with cyber crimes. Charged with cyber crimes, says she. Use a computer system to humiliate somebody. And I think she's on remand right now. Cyber crimes. Folks, be careful out there. Be careful out there. Use a computer system to humiliate a person contrary to Section 19.5A of the Cybercrime Act of 2018. And she's now on $400,000 bail. She appeared at the Diamond Magistrates Court, the Diamond Golden Grove Magistrates Court, before His Worship Mr. Deon Bass, quite recently was released on $400,000 bail. Cyber crimes, using a computer system to humiliate a person contrary to Section 95A of the Cybercrimes Act of 2018. That's what they're telling us. We're hastening around to the finish line, folks. Let me give you a daily dose of fire. Your daily dose of fire. Let's give it to you quickly as we wrap up tonight. Our daily dose of fire. Look, something that we saw quite recently. And folks are saying is an act of arson. A house in East Kanji destroyed by fire. 2 heavy-duty machines as well were destroyed in this blaze, and the authorities believe it's an act of arson. My God. My God, every day, carnage on the roads and waterways, fires of the PPP, violence against our women and girls. I didn't tell you that. I didn't tell you that, man. You got to pray for this place. Talk too quick. I got black tongue. Look sorry here now. Motorcyclist suffered injuries after he was involved in an accident at Turkine. This was Kwesi McCalman. He's in our thoughts and prayers. Walked away with his life after being involved in this accident here at Turkine. Take your time, Kwesi. Please and thank you. And peel your pine. Take your time and peel your pine. And finally, folks, next time. Again, I send me a second. Look story here now. Look story here now. The 3 Chinese nationals, 1 female and 2 males, were intercepted in a hotel in Georgetown. I don't know what was the crime they were committing, but it said they were intercepted by a number of policemen, and they had in their possessions $39 million. $39 million. I gotta congratulate the police for this work they're doing. There were some other people that just find these people. They would have just find the folks. $39 million in their possession. These people walking around town with now. Tracy, Eben, Michaela, June, Rhonda, Savage, Tish. These people walking around town with that. $39 million. Jesus. Y'all said he done stocks. Y'all is done stocks. In this city here, you walking around with $39 million. Jesus of mercy. Jesus of mercy. That's as near as some of us will ever come to $39 million watching it there. $39 million. Still trying to get a sense what was the infraction here. What was the infraction the folks saw? But this seems to have been a sting operation where these folks were being watched for some period of time. And then known to have been in this hotel. They were pounced upon. They said it was an interagency intelligence-led operation. So I know they're washing money. What's happening here? They said the investigations thus far conducted revealed that the suspects were part of a transnational criminal group involved in gold smuggling and other illegal activities. Transnational crime, transnational criminal group involved in gold smuggling and other illegal activities. They're in police custody tonight with that $39 million, assisting with investigations. Nice time. Nice time. And they're telling us too, as we are nice time, the Indian, let me make sure I get it right, the Export-Import Bank of India, the Exim Bank of India, inked an agreement with the Ghana government for 2.5 million US line of credit. And this is to aid some solar panel operations. Some solar operations that the government of Ghana wants to get into. It is to aid in those activities, facilitating the establishment of a solar-powered plant That's what they're saying. 2.5 million agreement inked out of the Export-Import Bank of India. Export-Import is the same as Exim. That's the shortened form. The Exim Bank of India. Yeah. And we're going to end where we start, folks, on the happenings in the National Assembly. Let us end there. You know they're trying. Well, they're trying. They hijacked the University of Guyana last evening into this morning by expanding the government representatives, more than UG representatives, on the Council of the University of Guyana, which is the highest decision-making body out of UG, out of the University of Guyana. So from 23, they took it all the way up to 32. That's how the wicked, stink, and dirty. And here's Ganesh and I again making some of the arguments last evening.
Sir, let me say also that Article 13, to which the Minister of Education spoke to, seeks to it mainly speaks to wide consultation. So if you're going to make a change to what exists, then you are supposed to have wide consultations to do so. And this that is before us here, the University of Guyana themselves did not know about it. UG themselves did not know about this, Comrade Speaker. Comrade Speaker, Comrade Joe Hamilton said that the PNC said that Amerindians are bush people. I take offense of that, Comrade Speaker. And I will like for the Honorable Minister to provide the evidence to this House where the PNCR said that Amerindians are bush people. I want him to provide that evidence, Comrade Speaker. And if he cannot provide that evidence, then he owes this nation an apology. He owes the PNCR an apology, and this nation by extension an apology, of which that statement ought to be withdrawn. And I trust, Comrade Speaker, that you will crave my indulgence in ensuring that that evidence is produced. And if not, hopefully it will be withdrawn. Comrade Speaker, I want to also touch on the claim that when we had the chance, what did we do? But before I go there, sir, let me quote what was said by the Chancellor of the Judiciary at the 45th convocation ceremony by Justice Kyle Singh. And these were his words, sir, not mine, his words. And as I said to you, sir, I'll be quoting a lot here. He said, university autonomy has been defined as the freedom of the university to govern, appoint key officers, determine the conditions of the service of its staff, control student admission and academic curricula, control its finances, and generally to regulate itself as a legal entity functioning in accordance with its statutes, and its freedom of expression, freedom of action, freedom to disseminate information, and freedom to conduct research and distribute knowledge without hindrance or restriction. These twin concepts facilitate the flowering of thoughts and ideas and are the bedrock of flourishing and meaningful academia. Dilution of the degree of university autonomy or academic freedom should be stoutly resisted, since history shows that interference in the affairs of universities lead to intellectual regression. The concept of university autonomy and academic freedom must be shown the respect that is shown to the doctrine of the separation of powers, which is constitutionally recognized here in Guyana. These are the twin pillars supporting the structure which ensures that the university's role in the discharge of its responsibilities is meaningful. These were the words of Justice Carl Singh at the 45th convocation ceremony. Clearly, he's saying to us, stop interfering with the University of Guyana. Stop the political interference at the University of Guyana.
The government so loved UG, they went and started their own communication center in the Media and Communication Academy. They couldn't bring journalists through the communication center of the University of Guyana. Bring those resources through the University of Guyana. They want to create the parallel center. But Minister Manik Chan will argue with you, right, that UG is a brainchild of Chetty Jagan. But Chetty must be turning in his grave when he see what you all have done to his vision and his dreams. But this whole idea of the council was already canvassed in the shape and form of a modern council. And advice was received from non-political persons, academics, and those persons who study university and compositions and so on, that the council, in keeping with best practices, should actually be smaller. And I know that the PPP got a pension for small bodies. And we had a big oversight body for the Natural Resource Fund. They said too big. It's too much oversight. The honorable member, Ramson, says, because of the investments in UG, we got to get a big supervisory body. Well, all this investment coming through the NRF, but it's showing the NRF. So the thing, the Mats and Matson, I end with this. UG has showed over the years, and in the recent past, it has improved its international ranking. They have added a number of new programs with the same council. The work wasn't stymied. They have added a list of new policies. The student numbers have gone up. While other university like UE has shrunk in registration numbers. Graduates have gone up. New PhDs. When you go on campus, you don't recognize it. The infrastructural projects, staff promotions, and a whole number of things are testament that UG is on a path. And I warn us, we've seen this movie before. In conclusion, certain changes were made to the PAC for better governance. Now the PAC hardly meets. And we warned this was the ulterior motive. They said, no. The papers locally are replete with the words of the Attorney General, the Honorable Gail Teixeira, all the democracy and the greater this and that, and everything has gone in the opposite direction now. How many meetings were missed? How far back the PAC is? They're coming now and they're arguing the same thing for UG. Greater this, greater that. But we've seen this movie before. With that being said, I want to humbly submit. Now we put this order into a select committee. UG was notified of this order through the press. When I spoke to UG even about the cancellation of the student debt, they have not been engaged on that. And the Honorable Minister of Finance knows this. They have put forward a number of proposals for the cancellation of student debt that they themselves have had to walk back. You need X amount of contributions, and then no, we can take it off the table. You need to show that you're employed. No, we can take it off the table. Because these things are not being thought through in a very comprehensive manner, befitting the highest institution of learning in our nation. And so, Mr. Speaker, members of the government, members of the parliamentary opposition, I humbly submit, let us put this order into a select committee, consult with the stakeholders properly, and then come back and see if we feel the same way about it. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, folks, that's our time this evening, and that's our program. Stay safe, each and every one of you. Thanks for joining us. And that's the last bell. Julie Knock, good to see you there. Raquel Gentle, Desiree Chapman, Debbie Bonner, Estwick. Good to have you there. Good to have you. Wendy Denny and Dan Gribbs and Crown Providence, good to see you there. Wendell Fraser, Alson Cortez, good evening to you folks. Have a fantastic rest of the evening. That's our time tonight, and that's our program. And just because it's y'all, I can ring the bell one more time to each and every one of you, the new folks who join us this evening as well. Thanks for being here with us.